Hello. If you don't know me, I'm Amy Landelt. I'm an acupuncture sleep specialist at North Shore Acupuncture. But today we are not going to talk about sleep. Instead, we are talking about what different businesses are doing to give back in the community and just help each other out during this pandemic. And so joining me, I have PJ Weiland from Action Coach Business Coaching in Glenview. And PJ is a business and executive coach. She's an educator, a speaker, and a marketing strategist. And she's the owner of Action Coach Business Coaching in Glenview. And her specialties are a long list, but just some of the key ones are business coaching, profitability, and marketing. So thank you for joining us today. And I asked PJ to join us because I saw things that she was doing in Glenview and Northbrook in the area to really support other small businesses and help them out. And I thought she could tell us a little bit about what she's doing for the small businesses and also the broader community as well.
Thank you, Amy. If I think back to, when the pandemic first, we started to be aware of what was really happening in the Chicagoland area, in particular across the country. It was about March 12th, and I remember that day because there was lots of news going on. And immediately, I started to get a lot of information from the other coaches that I work with across the country. And there was a lot of energy that day. And what happened then is that Saturday, I immediately went online and said, I gotta help these folks. And we really said there's so many people to help, and started scheduling educational sessions and webinars. And my very first one had 82 people on Monday, that following Monday, the 16th. And we had 350 people that week helping to do a pandemic checklist of what you needed to do. So that was kind of the origin of just getting out in front of helping people. And ever since then, it's been one idea after the next. I'm an idea generator. I love the ideas. Very shortly thereafter, I thought, what can we do next? How do I help these folks? And the yellow signs that many of you might know, let me see if I can flip it around here a little bit. There's a yellow sign that my daughter and I made about 100 of them and just went around to every restaurant in Glenview and Northbrook and put them in every restaurant we could find that was open. And I actually got a call today for someone who wanted to sign. So they're still out there and people are still looking for them.
I think that's really helpful because it's hard to know just driving by. Everything looks so dead. And so it's nice having the bright yellow sign so I know this place is open. This is someplace I can support right now. I don't have to wait.
Yeah. It was, and what was so moving is when we drove by and we gave these signs and either I ran in or my daughter ran in, the owners were brought to tears and they were so emotional about, wow, you care. This is free? Yeah, it's free. Just I want you to survive and I want you to be in business. And it was so moving and said, put it up. I'll take a social media. I'll take a picture. I'll put it on our social media. I'll post it. I'm often posting signs and taking pictures and trying to promote them because it's so important to our communities. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I remember when I was first getting my head around this, I guess we all still are, right? But right away, I saw that email from you saying, here, join me. We have a pandemic checklist. I'll let you know how to, handle this. And just knowing that there was someone there thinking about it and that you didn't have to be on your own was really helpful as a business owner.
And it's interesting because we talk a lot about getting out in front of things, and I teach a lot of that with my clients. And from the time of the inception of the yellow sign, for example, from the time we conceived it, that was entered my mind to the time we executed, it was 36 hours. From the time of the webinar, the very first webinar, from the time of deciding I was going to do it, it was a Saturday at like 3 or 4. To the time we did it was Monday at 3:30. So it's hours, not days. In that respect, that it's so important to get out in front of it. And that's what I teach. So I was like, let's do this. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's really a pleasure to give back and a pleasure to see the relief on people's faces when they know there's someone there for them.
And so you've done a lot of other webinars besides the pandemic checklist. I know you had some about Zoom, because for a lot of people, Zoom was new. Can you tell us about some of the other educational things that you've been doing?
Sure. The pandemic checklist was my very first, as far as just getting out in front of folks. And from that, I launched the Learn to Zoom. And since I did the very first one, I've had over 900 people now on Learn to Zoom in teaching folks. I do it every week. So that was one that got it very early on. And then I started a 10-day Survive and Thrive, which helped folks just get their morning done, get their mindset, get where they needed to be, how to survive and thrive. And those were all 20-minute, just quick webinars. Then I went into things like creative marketing, grand reopenings, pivoting your marketing, anything that really got folks thinking about how do they survive and how do they reinvent their business and their marketing to address this. Those were the types of things that we found that resonated.
Great. And besides that, I know you've done some things with the community outside of business owners. Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Sure. So I have clients that are serving the consumer base. So I work primarily with businesses, but many of my clients work with the consumer base and trying to help them figure out ways to survive and thrive. The opportunities to do that were pretty cool. So I looked at how do we get into the minds and hearts and support the community and bring them up. And so blue ribbons, blue bows, blue bandanas, things like that really buoy them up and get them into that. And most recently, the thing that hit me hard was when 22nd Century Media closed the doors. And I said, oh my gosh, that was our avenue to celebrate these kids, to celebrate all these graduates. And it just came to me that their ability to see their soccer, their art, their honor roll, whatever it was in the paper was gone. And so I launched a program called Celebrate Graduates of 2020. And right now it's in 2 cities, Libertyville and Glenview. And what it is we have a lot of transient things to celebrate these kids. We have yard signs, we have banners, we have social media, we have things like that. But I wanted something that had more legacy and more as a tribute to them, that had longevity. So I'm launched in those 2 cities and willing to launch in other cities as well, a tribute album. And it basically has any graduate, 8th grade, college, high school, 2nd grade, kindergarten, whoever believes they're a graduate of that community, quarter-page tribute. No advertising, nothing but the kids, and an opportunity to celebrate them. So that's my latest idea project, a way to give back to the community and give back to the kids who just are struggling.
Okay. So I live in Evanston. We don't have the blue ribbons here. So for some of the people in other communities, can you explain what the blue ribbons are as well?
Sure. So in different cities, I have put together, and I wish I had my little copy. I have one around the corner here. It's a little bag that has a ribbon or a bow in it, and depending on what community you're in. And it basically just says, tie it around your tree, put it on your lamppost, put it on your mailbox, in support of our healthcare workers and our frontline workers. And the city in Glenview, we've given out over 2,000 of them. In Northbrook, we're nearing the 1,500 mark. And the next wave is going to be in Edgebrook. So it's those cities who want to show a visible support for the frontline workers. So it's pretty impressive. Yeah.
So is there anything that people that are listening can do to support you in your outreach to small businesses and the community right now?
Probably the most important thing is to reach out to each other. That's really been the biggest thing that I'm hearing from folks, is just knowing that other people are in their same mindset, same area, and buoy them up and look for ways to support them. Reaching out, making sure people aren't isolated, even though the physical distancing, there's so many opportunities at the chambers and all the areas to get on virtual calls, to get on virtual happy hours, to socialize, to bring them into that marketing side. I also am giving out 5 free hours of business coaching a week. So if folks are stuck and go, I want to do something more, I don't know what it looks like, help me build an appreciation campaign, or help me build something that reaches out, that's what I'll help them do. So
great.
For opportunities.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've loved about this is seeing the businesses come together. There have been some interesting partnerships that I've seen across businesses working together to serve the community and just looking at their business in a different way. And that's really heartwarming to me to see everyone supporting each other.
It's interesting because I have a master's in change. And so I love change. So to me, this is like, oh, people are willing to change. People are excited not excited, but they know they have to. And the resistance is down. So for me, this is a place where I can be super creative and super excited about, and people want to move fast. And that's fun too. So, and I tell people, it's got to be ours. Let's go. Let's put something in place. It's energizing.
It's good for those of us that are recovering perfectionists as well, because it forces us to move quickly instead of waiting for things to be perfect.
Yes, so. It's interesting. I've been teaching that a lot in some of the conversations I'm having is about visibility, and you have the permission right now to not be perfect. And it's such a if you take it on, it's such a freeing aspect because there's so much perfectionism, or just you get hung up in that element of it. It's just do it and do it again. And I had an interesting story because I decided to go Facebook Live for a while, and I hadn't done it. And I said, what the heck? Now's the time. And one of my very first Facebook Lives was sideways. I didn't tilt the camera right. Yes. And I said, you know what? I'm posting it because people need to be okay with it. And they need to say, you know what? It's what happened. It's how the camera worked. I thought it was going to do something. It didn't. But I'm going to go out there and be okay with imperfection because it's more important than to be visible than to not.
Yep. And I think we're seeing that with like some of the late night shows as well. People wearing a sweatshirt instead of their normal suit and tie, or their dog running in and saying, you know what, this is what it is. We're not reshooting. This is life.
It's fun to see the glimpse into the people's homes or people's workplaces. And it's totally different, and their children walking through or unusual circumstances. It is nice.
It is. So tell us a little bit more about your business and, what is the best way for people to follow you, and if they want to get on your mailing list so that they can get into some of these support things that you're doing right now as well.
Sure. So I have a lot of different ways in which you can connect with me. I'm on Facebook as Coach PJ Weiland. I have I just launched a new website this week because I wasn't doing anything else. And you can find me at I need a better business.com or energizemybusiness.com. Either one, you can find me online in there. You can also sign up for free coaching session in there. That's another way to do it. I'm on LinkedIn as well. I'm on Instagram. I use all the social media platforms. So in that respect, you can always find me in there. And my events are on my website, so you can find the different events that I'm doing that are upcoming. I have 2 new ones that I'm launching starting next week, and then one shortly thereafter. So for me, creating is fun and finding ways to connect with folks. So just Google PJ Weiland or I need a better business.com and you'll find me.
Okay. And I can put that in the comments as well. Well, thank you very much for taking a few minutes out of all of the different things that you have your hands in right now to talk to us. And please reach out if you need help with your business. Make sure you talk to Coach PJ Weiland, and have a great day. Thank you for everything that you're doing.
You're welcome.
Bye.